I'll give it the same.
No, effort is good. So give it the same emphasis.
Vavavoom.
Yeah. Let's hear it then.
So, the unsolved mysteries of the Grimes sisters. Barbara Jean Grimes, born on May the 5th, 1941, and Patricia Kathleen Grimes, born on December 31st, 1943. They're both
like the Catfish in the Bottom End song?
I literally just thought that. They're both born in Cook County, Illinois, USA. They're on December 28th, 1956, Barbara and Patricia Grimes both went to the movies to see Love Me Tender. Have either of you seen Love Me Tender?
Is Elvis in it?
Is it? Oh, I thought it was a cool classic.
No, I've never heard of it.
Oh.
I mean, it's way before our time. If this was in the 40s or whatever, 50s, way before our time. So yeah.
I've seen Roman Holiday, though, and that's an old movie.
Yeah, I've seen Roman Holiday as well.
But that's not the oldest. Third one's the worst one. A Very Bad Trip, you mean?
Yeah.
That's what they call it in France.
So they never returned home, and a search party was sent out to find them. Initially, the police believed that the girls had run away, so their investigation was not as urgent. That is strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
How the search wasn't very urgent because they thought they'd run away.
Yeah, I feel
surely
like
the search would be more urgent then.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that is a thing now, like more so than it was then. Like, say if you reported like a child missing, the police would say, "Come back in 24 hours."
But they say if they were missing for longer than 48 hours, then they're likely dead. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the chances get. I think every few hours that pass, the chances get lower and lower of them being found alive. But that is like the trouble with reporting someone is missing, is they automatically think they could just be late home, they could have ran away, things like that. So they don't really take it seriously.
Do you think the police do that to save on funding?
Well, I mean, obviously they've got a lot to be doing. If it's just, say if people reported their child late home and the police sent out a mass search when the child was just late home, the amount of time that would be wasted when the police could be doing other things.
I suppose that's a very valid point, yes.
If they looked into every time someone reported the child missing, most of the time they are safe and well. So
we're with a relative, aren't they? Most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time. And obviously it would be a waste of a police search then.
So, because of their love for Elvis Presley, investigators thought that the sisters had caught the bus to Nashville to meet their idol. When the news of the missing sisters went national, Elvis Presley caught wind of the story and made a televised plea for the girls to return home on the 19th of January. He said, "If I won't do an accent, I won't put you through it.
No.
If you are good Presley fans, you'll go home and ease your mother's worries." 3 weeks later, on the 22nd of January 1957, police found their bodies lying by the side of the road out in the middle of nowhere. They were very, very dead. And that was where the questions really began. It's not funny. It's not funny at all, Morgan. I don't know why you're laughing.
Yeah, but I can just tell that you've written that rather than saying they were dead. You put they were very, very dead.
Well, they're not very dead, are they?
What's the difference between being dead and very, very dead?
Well,
you've done that on purpose.
Wow.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I did write this myself. Doctors couldn't figure out what killed them. One of the girls' chests was covered in light stab wounds, but none of the marks would have been enough to kill them. Why are you? It's not funny at all.
You're the one laughing.
I thought you were going to say light mayonnaise, like Hellman's mayonnaise.
Oh,
you said like
people died.
Exactly.
People died.
Yeah, but it doesn't really count if it's in the 40s, does it?
It's basically in the 60s. It's in 1957.
Oh, sorry.
But that was ages ago.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, there's not going to be anyone.
Time moves on.
Yeah, exactly. You can't change history, can you? No. So, the post-mortem inspection didn't reveal much either, except that they died around 5 hours after they left the cinema. No one spotted them before they died, and no one knew how they got so far away from home either.
Well, someone did.
Exactly.
Murderer.
Bet the Kaiser Chiefs knew.
The Kaiser Chiefs? Because they've never been so far away from home.
Yeah.
It seemed like a cut and dry kidnapping murder, except for the fact that people kept seeing the two girls after they died.
What?
Days after they were allegedly deceased, reports began to come in from people who swore they saw the two girls. In 2009, the Detroit cop decided to reopen the case to see whether anyone saw them as missing persons. Surprise. Records showed...
Surprise!
There's no way they're still knocking around in 2009, though, is there?
They're not cutting about in 2009, are they? That'd mean they'd be very old.
Yeah, you're not going to work it out.
Nope. Right, so, surprise. Records showed that people kept seeing them after they were found dead. In fact, two separate employees said the girls checked into the Claremont Hotel on the 30th, 2 days after they apparently died. Then it got stranger. January 14th, a classmate's mother answered the phone only to hear the late Patricia Grimes asked to speak to a classmate.
Trisha Paytas.
Promptly hung up. Trisha Paytas. Oh my God. Remember, this was the 1950s. They didn't have technology that would allow a girl's voice to be synthesized the way that we do today.
And they didn't have Trisha Paytas.
No, they don't. They didn't.
No,
It was very far from it.
Lucky.
It was only the next day that investigators got an anonymous call that said that the girls were dead and told them where to search for them. That's when investigators found their bodies. Nothing about this makes sense. Who knew where the girls were? And why did they call the police to tell them where they were? Why were people talking to them and seeing them when autopsies showed that they were long dead? Because of all this, all these unanswerable questions, this will surely remain one of the strangest, creepiest, unsolved murders of all time. So off the bat, what do we think?
Elvis did it.
Okay. Right.
Could have been Elvis.
Yes. Isn't there? No, there's not a song about that. Is it Skeleton for Girls where they start shouting Elvis?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because he heard him on the radio.
Exactly.
I'm a bit confused.
Feels
so
more
they
like a
were
ghost
dead?
story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were dead, but people reported seeing them after they were dead.
Yes.
So they're not
But
dead
they were
then.
Dead.
But their bodies were found. Well, this time they couldn't. Obviously, I don't know what technology was like then, but they couldn't confirm it was exactly them.
Maybe they've got like a set of twins or something. They're both a set of twins.
Maybe they could have been quadruplets.
I think the parents would have knew that.
Maybe the parents did it.
You really have gone down a rabbit hole this week.
I probably have, yeah. It's got out of control. I don't normally get into things like this, but so do you want to hear about some suspects?
Yeah.
Go for it.
So, but you're both clear on the case?
Yeah.
So just to clarify, when these reported sightings of the girls had been seen, they were already dead.
Yes, it's just people that think that they've seen them.
What about the phone call?
I think the phone call was just before. The phone call was made on January 14th and they were found on... It was 22nd of January. So that's
Quite a long
they-
time that they've been laying there.
No, they went missing on the 28th of December.
Oh, okay.
But the bodies, they thought they died 5 hours after. So that disproves the fact
5 hours after they went missing.
Yeah, but that disproves the fact that they died 5 hours after. So it's
But
all
they
very
could
strange.
have got that wrong, to be fair, because it wasn't that good then, was it? Like scientific.
They could have, yeah.
No, it wasn't, was
Yeah.
it? But yes, so are we all clear on where we're at?
Yeah.
Both now? Yep. So the suspects. The first of all is our good mate, Edward Bedwell. Known as
Alrighty.
Benny. Well,
Never heard of it.
you're about to, whether you like it or not. Known as Benny, oh God. Bedwell was a 21-year-old drifter who worked odd jobs for Tokyo Drift. Who worked
What, the
odd
Fast and
jobs.
Furious film?
Yeah. It's a tune in that. Throughout the Chicago, so he worked odd jobs throughout the Chicago area. At the time of the girl's disappearance, Benny was working part-time as a dishwasher at a restaurant in Chicago. According to the owners of the restaurant, he and another man had been at the restaurant with the two girls who resembled the Grimes sisters. on the morning of the 30th of December. The owners contacted the police on the 24th of January, and Bedwell was arrested and interrogated for 3 days. Why are they waiting that long?
Yeah, I suppose, I don't know.
It was national news though, because Elvis did the thing on the 15th.
Yeah.
Did Elvis like make a, what's the word, like an appearance? Like, did he try and ask for help because they were fans? Did he get involved?
Yeah, it was a press conference. He said, if you're Presley fans, you'll come home and reassure your mother or something. That was on the 15th, and only on the
Elvis
24th.
actually said that.
Yeah, he said that. So Elvis was a superstar at this point, wasn't he? If I'm correct.
It's like Ed Sheeran, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, if he asked me to, well, I probably wouldn't. So yeah, they waited till the 24th after they thought they'd seen them, and it was interrogated for 3 days. Bedwell was charged with the sisters' murders on the 27th of January 1957. He signed a 14-page confession where he claimed that he and the other man, William Cole Willingham, had been in the company of the sisters that night up until the 7th of January and had frequented many of the Skid Row bars in the area. He said that he had fed the sisters hot dogs and beaten them to death. After he fed them hot dogs, not before, leaving their bodies at the side of the road, but things weren't adding up. There were no hot dogs or alcohol found in either of the sisters' stomachs during the autopsy, nor were the girls beaten to death.
What hot dogs were they?
I'm not. I'd imagine cheap ones.
Were they like Frankfurters or like sausages, like Richmond sausages?
I don't know. Probably the cheapest ones.
No, I bet it was, them horrible ones you get in the jar.
Yeah, the Frankfurters.
Oh yeah.
Bet it was that.
Yeah, because he's only a pot washer, isn't he? So he can't afford like the big bank ones.
Yeah.
Balls.
I hate ones in the jar.
Yeah, you can't get the premium Wolves ones. So there were no hot dogs or anything found in their systems. On visiting bars with Bedwell and Willingham, Loretta Grimes was quoted saying, "It's a lie. My girls wouldn't be on West Madison Street. They didn't even know where it was. But just because they don't know where it was doesn't mean they wouldn't be there."
Mm-hmm. Is this LA that they're? Because you said Skid Row.
Did say Skid Row.
I've no idea, to be honest.
Oh, it's going well, isn't it?
No, be nice. They went missing in Illinois, so maybe they were picked up and taken to LA.
But why would this man confess if it wasn't him? Why did he write a 14-page confession?
Maybe the police got him into doing that. Do you know, there was a lot of bent coppers at that time.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, he was interrogated for 3 days, wasn't he? So I'd imagine he'd been beaten up and stuff and forced to confess.
So he probably just thought
they needed someone to pin it on, or they'd look.
Yeah.
Like
just
a bad
to say that they'd solved
station.
it. Mm-hmm. Just to say it's been solved when actually it hasn't.
So William Willingham did admit to being with Bedwell and two other girls on the 30th of December, but denied that these girls were the Grimes sisters and refuted any involvement in the murder. Bedwell later recanted his confession, stating that he had been remanded for 3 days and was told that if he confessed, they would let him go. Bedwell had also clocked in another one of his jobs at Ajax Consolidated Company, which placed him at work when the girls were likely to have been abducted. So that's our first suspect. Any thoughts on him so far?
It clearly wasn't him, was it?
Well, it could have been, but it's more likely it was him.
There's no evidence for it to have been
They've
him.
just coerced him into a confession, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Made him
it
feel
just
safe.
It just wasn't him. And like you said about the hot dogs, if he's confessed and said, after being interrogated for 3 days, and he said, fed them hot dogs, but then the autopsy showed no hot dogs in their system. It's obviously just a fabricated story. So suspect one, I would say, not likely.
He was forced to confess under false pretenses.
Yeah.
Because the likelihood was that he had been released under a fake name. And everyone would have thought the murder suspect had been found. So we'll move on to the next one, Walter Kranz. So Kranz was a steam fitter and self-declared psychic who experienced the vision of the two girls after a night of drinking. The 53-year-old called the police complaint room on the 15th of January and told an operator that the sisters were dead and their bodies could be found in Lyons Township, Lyons. Kranz wouldn't give his name to the operator, but the call was traced near his home. Kranz's vision of the girls was near to the truth, and when their bodies were found a week later, They were only around a mile away from his estimation. The police also suspected him for a ransom note which had been sent to Loretta Grimes. Handwriting experts confirmed that he may have written the note, but Kranz denied. He didn't die. He did not die. But Kranz
He might be
denied
now.
But Kranz, yeah, he's very dead now. Very, very dead. But Kranz denied involvement during the numerous interrogations, and he was eventually released without charge. What do we think about him?
He did it 100%. I put like all my money that he did it.
Yeah,
Really?
I thought that.
No
as
one's a
well.
psychic. No one's a
As soon
psychic.
as you
That's
said
why.
his name, I thought he's guilty. As soon as I heard his name, but yeah, how would you get that right?
As soon as you said
That is-
self-proclaimed psychic, I knew he did it.
Yeah,
Yeah, so he's there getting interrogated by the police. And he goes, "It's all right, lads. I knew all this because I'm a psychic. I
Yeah.
didn't kill him." But so we move on to the next one because he might be more guilty than him.
Yeah.
So we've got Max Fleeg next. Fleeg was a 17-year-old, also under suspicion for the sister's murder. Due to his age and Illinois laws, he was not allowed to undertake a polygraph test. What's a polygraph test?
lie detector
Yeah,
test.
lie test.
But aren't they not accurate?
Yeah, they're inaccurate.
That's
But
what
they
I
used to
think.
They
use
can't-
them as in they were accurate because they thought they were,
Yeah,
Oh,
but they're
but
not.
they
at
can't
all.
they can't be used as evidence in court.
All right. Okay. So, however, Captain Ralph Patak convinced Fleeg to do it anyway. He subsequently confessed to the murders, but because the test wasn't legal, he could not be charged. He was released due to lack of evidence, but was later jailed for the murder of another young woman. Loretta Grimes, who is their sister's mum, applauded police efforts and cited that she did not agree with age restrictions on polygraph tests. That's all I've got about him. What do you think about him?
Nah, I don't think he did it.
I don't think it was him.
But he's gone to jail for the murder of two other people.
Nah,
Maybe
psychic.
that's what made him murder.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe
gone
he
in for the
thought, if I'm
psychic.
getting in trouble, if I'm getting in trouble for not murdering, I might as well actually murder.
It's like the confession killer, where he just confessed to like he just wants the glory.
Yeah, even though he didn't do it,
What's that? Confession killer.
he confessed to murders that he didn't do. Just
Oh,
for
He
the sake
confessed
of
to about like
confessing.
over like 100 murders or something.
But do you reckon he did that just for the crack? Like, just
Yeah,
to
he did. He
just-
did it for
yeah.
the publicity and the.
for like
views and everything.
notoriety.
That's mental.
Yeah.
So, should we move on to our fourth and final suspect?
Yeah.
So, Chris Malquist. More recently, cold.
Can I just say, he said Chris Malquist. I'm
It's
sat right.
Charles.
I'm
It's
sat right
Charles.
next to him.
It's Charles.
It says Charles. in
Fabricating
clear bold
evidence.
letters.
So yeah, don't trust the word I say. Not that
Fabricating
anyone
it.
did.
Did you write this murder yourself, like the ghost story?
No, I didn't. I've written up. I've read articles and put it into my own words. That's probably
Santa's
why
coming next, isn't he?
Yeah.
It was Santa.
So that's probably why it's coming across as awful. So Charles Malquist. More recently, cold case detectives have been looking at Malquist, a confessed child killer who was responsible for the murder of Bonnie Lee Scott in 1957. That year, Loretta Grimes received an anonymous phone call stating that the caller was the one who undressed her girls. He also told Loretta that one of the girls had deformed toes that crossed over each other. This was a fact that that had not been public knowledge. These are two girls that had died. It's not funny at all. He also told Loretta, no, he'd already done that. On the same night in which newspapers were reporting on Bonnie Lee Scott's discovered body, Loretta received another anonymous call stating that he got away with another one and that the police would not be able to pin this on him. Bonnie's remains were discovered less than a mile away from the Grimes sisters, and she was also found nude. Malquist only served 8 years of his 99-year life sentence before he died. Retired detective Ray Johnson believes that the Malquist killed the Grimes sisters, but they also believe that he had accomplices. He thinks that Malquist had connections to the mob and additionally had ties with the police. And he thinks that he faked his own death in prison so that he'd get an early release.
It
What
was
do we think
him.
about him?
It was him and the psychic together, joint.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it could have been this guy, but then the psychic knew about it or was involved in some way, and that's why he phoned the police and tipped him off.
He's not a real psychic.
No,
I ain't giving him that. No.
Do you reckon? So, do we think Max Fleeg and who's the one? Max Fleeg and Edward Bedwell, are they innocent? Do we
I
think?
just think it's a town full of weirdos, and they're just like confessing for no reason,
Yeah.
or they're being coerced.
I don't think it was the 17-year-old. I don't think, because obviously with the first guy, he was forced to like give a confession. So I think we can rule them two out. But something's telling me that the psychic guy is guilty.
I don't know. I don't know how well that one person is going to murder two people as well. Surely they put
They're
up a fight.
children, though.
Were they?
Yeah,
They're
kids.
children.
They were,
Oh shit! I didn't know that. I never knew that.
I don't know how old they were.
Literally. Look.
So one was 16 and the other was 13.
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So obviously that would change your like perception on it. One man
Yeah.
could kill two like teenagers.
With relative ease,
Yeah.
As well, how does Charles know that one of them's got deformed toes?
That's true.
That wasn't public knowledge. But maybe it's because the other guy's psychic.
Maybe he knew about the toes.
But obviously they killed him, didn't they? So.
Maybe they're both involved.
Yeah, I think they're both involved.
Yeah.
And
Or maybe, hold on. Maybe they're all involved, and it's some sort of like Pizzagate thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's a very valid point.
Or if
Because
they're all involved.
And then the ones that wrote confessions, maybe they felt bad and they gave it all up.
Yeah. No, but the guy who wrote the confession got it all wrong.
Yeah.
So he can't have been involved at all.
But what about the 17-year-old? Is he just wrong place, wrong time?
Yeah.
Or they've threatened him to take the fall. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
told
Then
him
maybe-
to like, oh, make sure, just go into there, and we'll kill you.
Yeah, that's a valid point. But maybe Charles Malquist and Max Fleeg, because Max Fleeg went on to kill again, and Charles Malquist had killed other people as well. Maybe they were working together and just had like this ring of child killers going on.
Yeah. I mean, it's very rare that you'd get killers working together, though.
Especially that close together
That's
as
a
well.
very rare thing. So I would rule that out completely.
But maybe it was like their like Pizzagate gone wrong. Like they didn't mean to kill them. They just meant to do other stuff.
Yeah.
This was the one time it accidentally went wrong.
But then I don't it can't be an accidental murder when she's got stab wounds all over her chest.
But it said that the stab wounds weren't deep enough to kill her.
But they were still stab wounds.
She could have bled out, I suppose.
But why are you stabbing someone that many times in the chest if you don't mean to kill them?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that is. You're not
So it's an obvious murder that was meant to happen. It's not a murder. It's not like something gone wrong. It is an actual murder.
Should we take a vote on who we think the suspects are?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Morgan, who do you want to go first?
I'm going for the psychic.
What, Walter?
Yeah,
Grant.
he is the one. I'd bet he is the one that did it.
I'm going for him as well.
Okay, I'm going to have to agree with you. So we've solved that.
Yeah. The only thing
We've solved it.
thing that can't be explained is how did Charles know about the crossover toes?
He's just
I
really into
reckon-
feet. You can just
Yeah,
tell
I
from
reckon-
looking at someone.
Well, I suppose they were found naked. So maybe a picture was put into, and it says that he has contacts in the police. So
Exactly.
maybe he was showed a picture from the police department and he's seen the toes and he's just a sick fuck because he's gone on to kill people as well. But he's just phoned up police, phoned up the mother saying, got deformed toes, mate.
Yeah, no, we'll say it was Walter Kranz.
Yeah, so put the
Why
Walter
did they
Kranz
have
there.
deformed toes?
My report doesn't go that in depth, I'm afraid. Just maybe inbred, Illinois.
You can't say that.
We've just lost some
Where even
listeners.
is Illinois?
I'm not too sure. I know it's in America.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
I knew
state.
that. Let me Google it. Because
Yeah, where
they're
is
saying
it?
Skid Row, but I swear that's nowhere near.
Yeah, how far
It's-
away is Skid Row?
It's literally the other side to LA.
Oh,
It's
so
pretty much
if-
it's kind of by Washington, Detroit, Chicago.
Okay, so it's on the opposite side of America. So our first man.
It says there is a Skid Row in Chicago,
Oh,
Oh,
so it could be
That must be what they just call like homeless like communities in America or something.
Yeah. Like LA, we know was like the Skid Row, but maybe back then there was like
An off-brand of it.
Skid Rows. Yeah.
So maybe our first so are we in agreement it's Walter then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So are we rating them this week, or are we just doing?
I don't know, like, because we both agreed with the suspect, so I guess that can be the rating.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna solve them.
So we're not solving it. So let's just get that straight. We're not professionals. We're not solving these murders. We're just saying, based on the evidence, what we think is most likely.
Allegedly.
This could be our big
Allegedly.
breakthrough. We could solve all 3 of the cases today.
Allegedly.
And then that could be it. That could be our life.
And I feel like we should have made like a disclaimer. You know, like Ellen and Neil makes like a disclaimer at the start, like where you mean like no disrespect.
Yeah,
I just want to clear it. I wasn't laughing at the victim. I was laughing at the way you were delivering it.
Yeah. I was about to say it was a little bit late for disrespect when you started pissing yourself about a pair of dead twins.
No, he wasn't laughing at that. Let's just get that straight. We're not being disrespectful. Stop laughing at things that don't need to be laughed at.
It's not funny at all.
No, it's not. So
I'm the Rupert Murdoch anyway. I can just edit that out. I can just make you look like
that's true.
You're the overlord.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that old of a case anyway. You can be not
No, you can't.
No.
No, you can't.
We're making fun of the victims.
No, we weren't. We weren't.
Oh my God!
We're making fun of you, if anything.
We're making fun of the perpetrators, not the victims.
Yeah.
There we go.
And the thief.
Again, you can't go accusing people of murder if they didn't murder. So again, you need to be respectful.
Allegedly, you have to say allegedly.
Well.
Allegedly, yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Innocent until proven guilty. So
yes. So
allegedly,
in our opinion, Walter did it, but he is innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, it's looking likely.
But he can't be proven guilty because he's dead.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it was him.
But he was never charged with it. So obviously we don't know.
Should we move on?